Now that we know how to add and subtract integers that have both positive and negative numbers, now it only makes sense that we learn how do we multiply and divide integers that have negative and positive numbers. So there's a few important rules that you should include in your math rules notebook for multiplying and dividing integers, and they're the same. So the first rule is that the product or quotient of two integers with the same signs is positive. So if you had negative 5 times negative 3, the answer will always be positive 15. You'll always have a positive number. The same if it were 5 times 3. Since both of those are positive, you get a positive number. If both of them are negative, you also get a positive number because the negatives, you can think of them as canceling out. But what happens if they have different signs? So if they have different signs, that's when we get a negative number. So if you were to multiply negative 5 times 3, you'll get negative 15. Or 5 times negative 3, you also get negative 15. So when the signs are different, you get negative numbers. And the last two rules you should be familiar with, but anytime you multiply, meaning the product, a number, any number, in this case I use 5 as the example, but can it be any number at all, by 0, the answer is always 0. And the same thing for the quotient or division. If we do 0 divided by any number, the answer will always be 0. So these are some important rules to remember when solving problems that have to do with multiplying and dividing integers with positive and negative numbers. So same signs, you get positive. Different signs, you get negative. Let's try a few. So go ahead and press pause and try these on your own, and try to remember the rules as you do them. Alright, so negative 5 times negative 10. 5 times 10 is 50. Since they're both the same signs, that means they cancel out, so we're going to get positive 50 as our answer. We have negative 9 times 9, which 9 times 9 is 81. But since they have different signs, one's negative and one's positive, our answer will be negative. And then here we have negative 18 times 0. Any number times 0 will always be 0. And here's kind of the recap of the rules. Same sign, the product is positive. Different signs, the product is negative. And any product times any integer times 0 is 0. So try these on your own and bring them with you to class tomorrow. Feel free to look back at the previous page to review the rules. So let's use that multiplying integers we just went over, but using a word problem. So your uncle owns 90 shares of stock A and 130 shares of stock B. In one day, the price per share changed by positive $3 for stock A and negative $2 for stock B. That means the price went up for stock A by $3 and the price went down for stock B by $2. And they want you to find the total change in value of your uncle's stock. So I think it's important to initially start by setting up a verbal model so we know what's going on. So for the total change, we need to look at what stock A, shares, so the number of shares, here we go, 90, times the change in share 1, which is plus $3 for A. So one share changed by $3, and this has to do with stock A, so we have our $3. Then we have plus the stock B change. So stock B shares, so the number, which is 130, and its change was negative $2. So now that we know how to set it up, we can go and substitute those numbers. So we have 90 times 3 plus 130 times negative 2. And if you use your order of operations, remember we have to multiply before we can add. So we have 270 plus negative 260, and then we can add them together to get 10. So the values of stocks increased for that change in value is $10, and you gain $10. So So I want you to try the following word problem on your own. First, set up a verbal model, and then substitute the values and find the solution. Press pause now. Dividing integers uses the same rule. So in this first one, for A, we have negative 63 divided by negative 9, which equals 7. Since they have the same signs, the quotient is positive. So 63 divided by 9 is 7. Since they're both negative, we get positive 7. Now for B, we have 144 divided by negative 12. So in this case, we have different signs. So it has to be a negative number, so we get negative 12. And in the last case, we have 0 divided by negative 8. And anytime you have 0 divided by any number, it's always 0. So go ahead and try a few on your own and bring them with you to class tomorrow. And the last example we have is finding a mean. And a mean you may have used before, but called it the average. So they're the same thing. So the table shows the daily minimum temperature in Nome, Alaska for 7 consecutive days in December. Find the mean of the temperatures. So here we have our table, and it's telling us the day. So there's 7 days total. And then here's our low temperature. So in order to find the solution for the mean, is you first add up all the temperatures, so all of these in this row, and then divide by 7, which is the number of temperatures you added together. So we have our mean set up this way. So 3 plus 1 plus negative 2 plus negative 6 plus negative 11 plus negative 7 and plus negative 20, all divided by 7 because we have 7 numbers total. So then we get negative 42 when we add up the top, divided by 7, which is negative 6 degrees Fahrenheit is the mean temperature for that week in Nome, Alaska. So I want you to find the mean of the data sets below. So here's a given number of numbers. Find the mean of them and bring them with you to class tomorrow. Be sure to include the notes in your math rules notebook, and also bring any questions or comments with you to class tomorrow.